Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Scrassy, and today we're going to be looking at what are the differences between object references and class references. So by the end of this video, hopefully we can answer these three main questions, and that is, what is the difference between them? Like, what are they? Why do we use them? And how can we use them with our own unique projects and games? So I'm going to start off with a class reference first. So a class reference is basically the instructions. It's the instruction manual that you get when you buy Lego. Okay. So if you imagine like Lego, let's say you bought a Lego car from the shops. You have a bunch of Lego and you have that instruction manual. The instruction manual itself tells you everything you need to know, gives you all the information on how to build that Lego car. Imagine if you're talking about games, spawning that Lego car in. Okay, that's all it is. So it's not actually the car itself, but instead it's the instruction manual on how to build that car, how to spawn it in. So an object reference, what that is that's the car that we've spawned in. That's the Lego car that we've made. And so if we get an object reference and after we build the car, we go and say, hey, this object reference is now this car. Every time we use this object reference, we are now referencing that car that we've built. And so that is like the biggest differences between these two, is that a class reference is simply just referencing. And in this case, I have created a BP underscore cube actor class, and all it is a static mesh component added with simulate physics. Where is it here? Simulate physics on. So when we spawn it in, it will, what do you call it? It will drop. It will do all the physics things. It will have collisions, stuff like that. So, if we go into here, what I'm going to show is that if you, let's say, want to create a class object or a class reference, you can create that new variable like this, BP underscore cube. In this case, it will be cube for me, but for you, it might be BP underscore weapon class or whatever you've made. And if we go here, we go object reference or class reference. The soft object or class reference versions of these, we won't worry about. That's for another video. But we're just going to worry about the object and class reference. So that's how you make them. So you can click on one or the other. And if you click on here again, you can actually change the reference. So if I want to say, hey, I don't want an object, I want a class reference, boom, done. That's how you do it. You can get an object or class actor reference, and what that basically is, if we go back here and we go, hey, we want an actor, this is just a genuine actor. It's just a generic just any actor, right? Let's say we go class reference file like this. You can see now we can choose any single class, every single blueprint, or at least most of them that we have inside our project, because it's just a actor class reference, which I think all blueprint classes, even characters, stuff like that, most of them do inherit from an actor. So if we go and let's say we delete this, okay, we've chosen for our class reference a BP underscore cube, all right? And same thing with the object reference. And so what this means is basically think of this as a filter. So what this means is that we click on here, you can see here we choose a value. So we basically choose, hey, what do we want this of type BP cube to be? We're going to choose BP cube. All right, now you might be saying, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Why we've created a BP cube class reference, why do we have to also assign a BP cube class? We can do none and it will have nothing in it. It won't spawn anything, even though it's a BP cube reference. The reason why is because this is a filter in a way. This is saying, hey, this class reference is only going to allow us to take a BP cube reference. And so right now we only have one BP cube, but if we're going to get into inheritance later on, but if I duplicate this, okay, you can see, which just with Control D for duplicate, if no one knows, you can go back to here. And now if you see if I go like this, it's no, not duplicate. Hold on. create child blueprint class. And when we do that, we're basically saying, hey, we're going to create a version of this class. We're going to create a child of this. What this child is basically just saying, hey, we're going to get everything that this class has. This child blueprint is this class, but we can add extra functionality. I'm not going to get into inheritance right now, but that's the basic gist of it. So now if we go back here, cube, and we go to our class reference. Now that you can see we've got BP cube child, that's because that cube child class that we made is based off that BP cube class. So we're basically, it's almost similar to duplicating it, but instead we've basically created a class that's, instead of it being based off an actor class, like just a generic actor class, we're basing it off a BP cube class. That's why it's called a child of it, because it's almost like it is being birthed from the cube class. And so if you, let's say, had a weapon class, all right, then it's a filter for all your weapon classes. So that's what it is. So now we can choose BP cube child, and we can go and spawn in, even though it's a BP cube, we can spawn in this modified version of the BP cube. That's basically what these mean. You just got to think of them as filters in a way. It only will take, and same thing with this object reference. You can see here we can't take anything. It's got nothing in it because we don't have an actual BP. Delete this actually. Delete back here. And we'll go back to here, change it. You see that we don't actually have a BB cube in the scene, right? And so if you go back to here, our object reference is just going to be our reference to the actual object in the, right? I think we've already kind of spoken about that, but that's basically what the difference between these two are. The class reference is just an instruction manual, and the object reference is the actual object that you spawned in or you've built. Okay, that's the whole gist of it. So now if we go to here, we go and have a look at what I've made. This is a simple spawning system. Now I'm not going to go too much into this because I'm not trying to do a spawning system tutorial. I can do something like that later on, or a destroy cube tutorial, nothing like that. What I'm doing is I'm simply getting my actor location and I'm adding it on top of my actor forward vector, and then my get actor forward vector is basically saying, hey, whatever my character is looking towards. So my forward position in the x-axis. So if I'm looking forward, wherever I'm looking, it's going to get my forward position, and we're timesing that by 500 centimeters or meters, whatever it is, but just timesing it by 500. That's going to go 500 units forward, and we're going to add that on top of our get actor location. So we're basically saying, hey, get our actor location and move it 500 meters in the forward direction, or 500 centimeters, whatever you call it. That's going to be our spawn location. Okay, and again, I'm not going thorough over this because this isn't a tutorial about it, but this is, imagine like we're spawning an actor class. Okay, we've got our location where we want it to spawn, but our class is going to be our cube class ref. Okay, short for reference. So if you see here, this is the instructions. This is what's building that instruction. So we're getting the instructions and we're going to build our cube by spawning in. That's basically the way of saying it, right? So we're going to spawn our actor, and it's going to be of type our class ref. And when we spawn it, it's going to return a value. And what that value is going to be, it's going to return a value of our BP cube object. Okay, so we can go say, hey, let's say if we don't set an object reference, we can just pull out of it and go, hey, we can destroy it as soon as it spawns for some weird reason, stuff like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to get our cube object reference, because it's of type BP cube. It's a filter. It's only going to allow reference of type BPQN, which in this case it is, and we're going to set it. So now what we're doing is we're saying, hey, after we spawn it in, this object reference is going to be referencing that cube that we have just spawned. Same thing here. After we click, so this is after we click T. After we click Q, we can then go and do a validated get. Validated get, you just pull out get node, right click, and go validate get. Instead of doing this, is valid, right? Which checks, basically the is valid node just checks, hey, is there actually any object assigned to this object of reference? If there's nothing in it, then it's going to be not valid. If there is, it will be valid. This validator get, which again, if you right click on this get and you go convert to validator get, it's just this validator get is just simply this in one. That's all it is. So basically we're saying, hey, if this object reference is valid. Now, if we say, hey, do we actually have something in this object reference? Is it referencing an object in the world? If it is, then we want to destroy actor, and we want to destroy a target, which is the object reference that we have, that we just spawned in. So if we go like this and we go, cool, let's spawn it in. See, we've got a bunch of them. Look at that, right? And if we click Q, it's going to delete one of them. I can't delete all of them because I don't have a reference to all of them. The reason why is because the object of reference that I had only references one object in the world. Okay, and it deleted that cube because that cube was the last one I spawn in this one here. You know, the Q, it will delete it because what's happening is that I'm spawning it in. Okay, I'm using my class reference, spawning the cube in, and it's setting this object reference to the new cube that has just been spawned in. Then when we destroy it, it's going to destroy whatever this reference is holding. Okay, and then now this reference is going to be not valid because it's not actually referencing anything anymore. So that's what the difference is, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and give me some comments down below if you actually understood it, and hopefully we could answer these questions of like, what is the difference between them, why do we use them, like why are they so important, and how can we use them. This is an example of how we can use them, stuff like that. I know for my C++/Blueprint shooter game that I'm making, I need a lot of class references and a lot of object references when spawning in weapons, spawning pickup weapons into the game, stuff like that. So they are very important. And so that's basically it, guys. Again, leave some comments down below if you think I missed anything out, anything crucial, or if you still don't really understand the whole point. So thank you so much for coming in, and I'll see you in the next one.